Hey everybody, this is Kay back at it with a new video. In this video, we're going to talk about what it takes to be a property service technician. That's someone who goes from property to property, performing different repairs and making sure everything works properly when they leave. So, how much experience do you need to be a service technician? You need at least 1 year of experience plus, meaning that the more years you have, the more knowledge you have, the more better you'll be to that management company. So, how should you be far as talent wise? Well, you should be well rounded. You should be able to do electrical, far as outlets, switches, circuit breakers, plumbing. You want to know how to unclog sinks, tubs, toilets, and you may have to even ride them out. And for that point, that's a plus too, because now the management company don't have to call out an independent plumbing company. So they want someone that can step in and do some of those things. You want to be able to do repairs on drywall, meaning you want to be able to patch the hole and then put some mud on it, sand it, and then paint it. You want to also know how to paint because painting is important too. You may need to paint a wall. So it's good to, have your painting skills in order where you can do some painting if called upon. You want to be able to patch a floor in case there's a problem with the floor. You want to have knowledge of what it takes to do a repair on the floor. Now, you got those vinyl floors. That might be a little bit more challenging because it's all connected together, but a good technician will figure it out. You want to be able to deal with sump pumps just in case the sump pump goes out. You want to have knowledge of how to service a sump pump, whether it's pulling it out of the pit and then just cleaning it up, or being able to do preventive maintenance on it to make sure that it's always working. You want to know about electric and gas hot water tanks. Most of the time in commercial places, they have electric hot water tanks, and they like five gallons if it's a small place. And then in residential, you generally have like a 40-gallon gas hot water tank, and you want to know how to repair those. And the only way you get to do that is by doing. The next thing you want to be able to do is to replace a light fixture or troubleshoot a light fixture. You want to be able to know a little bit about furnaces. I'm not talking about the big stuff on the roof, but mainly like residential type furnaces. Whereas that if the furnace isn't turning on or it's turning on but turning back off, you know what to do to troubleshoot it. You want to know how to check a lock in case the lock isn't latching. You want to be able to go in and figure out, do you repair it or do you replace it? The next thing you want to be able to do is know a little bit about windows, why the window isn't closing. You want to be able to hang a door if you have to, or figure out why the door isn't closing altogether. And most of the time it could be the hinges. The screws could be loose. And once you tighten those screws up in the hinges, the door is back up straight and now it's closing. You want to be able to patch sidewalks. Let's say if you got a broken sidewalk, you want to have a little knowledge of how to patch it. You may have to get some cement and fill that area in and smooth it out just so people don't trip. So being a service technician requires you to have a car or a truck because you're going to be going from one location to another, and they require you to have your own vehicle. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, why don't they supply you with a vehicle? It's rare that they do that, but in some instances they do. But all the places I work, they always wanted me to have my own vehicle, which means you putting wear and tear on your car. You got to make sure, you got some good tires, your own oil changes, tune-ups, whatever you need to do to keep your car up and running, because without your vehicle, there is no work. And most places even want you to have like a little van or a pickup truck so you can even do more stuff with it. And they give you a credit for it. Like they may give you a check for the gas they think that you might use within a 2 week span. They may give you a check for like $50 for gas, but they don't give you anything for the upkeep of your vehicle. And so you put a lot of mileage and wear and tear on your own vehicle. You're actually using it like a work vehicle, and they require you to have commercial insurance. They want you to have, I think, liability of $300 to $500,000 worth of liability. So in case you get in an accident, you got enough insurance to cover whatever comes your way, and you're paying for it, not the company. They want you to have a license, and that's common sense. You want to have a license, and you want to make sure you're legal in all aspects, because that can come back to bite you. You want to make sure that you have tools. Tools are very important. And I always say this: if you borrow someone's tool 3 times, you need to go out and buy it for yourself. Because one thing about being in service, as well as being a service technician, you never know what tool you're going to need in your arsenal. So you don't want to borrow it out to Bob, and then he don't return it to you back in time. And it can be really frustrating when you go out to do a job and you done loaned out the tool that you need. So service technicians generally don't like to lend out their tools, because you never know what tool you might need. You want to be able to work independently, meaning that for the most part, you'll be going out on your own, unless you get a partner, unless, it's a major job. But for the most part, when you go out to do service calls, you basically on your own to deal with it, unless it's a big job, and then, they throw somebody your way. You want to be a problem solver. You want to be able to figure things out. And that's the fun part about being a service technician. It's going to always be something that you're going to learn, and it's going to be something that you got to figure out. Now, if you're not a troubleshooter and a problem solver, and you have problems figuring things out, it could be a problem, because you're going to always get things from time to time that you got to figure out. Whether something ain't working right, or the electric is out in a tenant space or a suite or apartment. You got to be able to troubleshoot that panel and the outlet or whatever it is to figure out what's causing the problem. If it's a light fixture, is it a ballast, or whatever. You got to be able to be a problem solver and figure things out in a timely fashion. You want to be able to order the parts you need, know how to order parts, know what the name of the part is, and the part number, and things of that sort. And I always took a picture of it. Or if I didn't take a picture of it, I would take the part in with me, so this way they can match it up perfectly for me. You also want to be able to commit to being on emergency calls, because shit happens. So you want to be able to be prepared that you might have to come in on your off day to deal with emergencies. And I can tell you that happens a lot. So you want to be able to set your man to, you might have to go in and deal with emergency calls. What's another one? Pay scale. Through the years, pay has dropped for service technicians. I don't know why, because they're a valuable individual, because you got a guy that pretty much you can send out and he can figure out whatever comes his way. And so, the pay kind of went up good, and then now it kind of dropped back down. And if you're in a union, that's probably better, because they have a set pay scale for you. However, even in the union, you still got union dues, and you got other expenses you got to pay when you're in a union. But for the most part, I think the union pays more than if you're an individual that just work for a management company. So these are all the things that it takes to become a property service technician. I love doing it. I did service calls for probably, I want to say, um, I don't know, maybe 10 years or something like that. And it was nice. It's challenging. You got to figure things out. And it just makes you a better technician when you can figure things out. Because when you can figure things out, it helps you with all of your life. Because once you learn to figure things out, you can figure anything out, whether it's related to your job or just life in general. So that's all I have on what it takes to become a property service technician. And the next video, we're going to talk about being a building engineer. And I think you'll like that video as well. Again, this is Kate, back at it with a new video. Take care, guys.